Usa ka pagtuo, usa ka tingog, usa ka katawhan. Cebu Catholic Television Network.
Maayong gabi. Welcome to Partners in Law, ang programa sa Cebu Lady Lawyers Association Incorporated. Ako si Attorney Rowella Descaliar, ang inyong kauban karong gabi. Karong gabi una, hisgutan nato ang newly inaugurated 129-kilometer bike lane nga naglakip og at least 4 localities diri sa Metro Cebu. Kini nga bike lanes gi-inaugurate ni adtong July 16, 2021. Usab hisgutan nato ang history nga nung nasugdan ni ang bike lanes diri sa Sugbo, and at the same time hisgutan sad nato ang advantages o disadvantages sa mga bike lanes nga nag-exist na karon diri. So, to begin with, ato sang i-introduce ang atong guest. Kani ang atong guest, mao ni siya ang Assistant Department Head of the City Planning and Development Office sa Cebu City. Kani atong i-welcome si Anne Marie Quizon. Hi ma'am, good evening. Kumusta?
Well, I'm doing fine so far, and hopefully the rest of Cebu, despite the Delta variant ni surge na po in the city.
Gyud. So, kani siya, memorable ni nga taping nato kay day 1, actually sa working day nga naay NECQ diri sa Cebu City. So, karon proceed sa ato ang main topic, which is ang Sugbo bike lane. So, ma'am, kumunguta na ta kung ordinaryo nga tao sama na kung unsa dining bike lane ug unsay gamit ani niya sa ato ang dalan.
Actually, a bicycle lane is a priority lane on the road wherein the bikers are assigned to pass through. So, in terms of the road rules nato, when a city establishes a bike lane, it means that they also prioritize the bikers. So the bike lanes are placed as part of the road so that it would be safer for the bikers to travel also.
So, nindot ang purpose, no? But, kining ato mga bike lanes karon diri sa Metro Cebu, how does it look like? Can you describe to us how it looks like sa ato ang present nga status?
Yeah. Actually, as early as last year, around June 2020, we already had a discussion with the other cities like Mandaue and Lapu-Lapu, the city planning offices. Since the start of the pandemic last year, March 2020, we felt na this is the good time to actually establish bike lanes.
Okay.
This initiative has been shelved actually for years na, no? The first ordinance that came out was actually in 1979.
Tiguang na dining bike lanes, no?
Yes.
So, unsa may nahitabo atong 1979
In
nga ordinance nato?
1979, the first ordinance, I think it was 1029, ordinance number 1029, which was then by Honorable Florentino Solon. The bike lanes was seen as a viable solution for the fuel crisis at that time. So at that time, tagas kaayo ang mga gasolina. So there was also difficulty to really maintain cars, especially for private owners, and also kaning ang mga fares sa public transportation. And then, at that time, gani kay it was really a 2 meter wide.
Dako-dako
Yeah,
siya.
it's really a one lane that is fit for a car.
Mhm.
Oh, yan na gyud siya ang description dito
Okay. So,
actually.
what was the reason nga wa gyud ma-implement ang 1979 nga bike lane ordinance nato, ma'am?
As of for me actually, I really don't know na what happened, no. But when we researched it, that was the first ordinance that we found. And then the second was followed in 2014,
Okay.
ordinance number 2408, wherein the Sugbo Lanes Board was also established.
Okay.
And they are responsible in creating all these provisions of bike lanes. At the same time, mas comprehensive ni siya in the sense because they already added the rights, the duties,
Okay.
the responsibilities of the bikers, also kaning licensing and registration, and prohibitions and penalties.
Okay. So, kini nga law, ma'am, as you said, na adiri ang katong mga traffic rules, regulations, funds, o kaning penalties for violations. So, like, unsa may penalties involved ani for a biker?
Actually, right now, the ordinance 2408 is being repealed also.
Okay.
Because we felt that there were a lot of items there that was still ambiguous, but hindi pa gyud kay siya klaro. So, it's being repealed, and now we are drafting, the Sugbo Lanes Board is actually drafting a really, really complete, comprehensive
In-
na ordinance.
In keeping na sa 20
Yes, in
sa
keeping of the
21.
recent times.
So, dili na siya imong kinaraan, and
Dili na.
most probably the reason is no longer tungod sa kanang fuel nga issues
No.
before. So
Yes.
karon, is it because more of kining sa COVID-19 or ang mga tao nahilig na og healthy lifestyle? So
Yes. Actually, there were several reasons that the city planning office collaborated with other cities last year. Actually, we just happened to chance on that opportunity. When the ECQ started, there was really a large absence of public transportation. So you don't see the
True.
jeepneys anymore.
lisod
Yes,
kaayo.
and there were buses, no? And the frontliners were prioritized. But what about those who are also working but are not frontliners? And then the planners, kami city planners, mong good, we always study about the development of the city and what we think is really what are progressive solutions. And we always find establishing bike lanes in cities really, really sustainable. Because number one, it's a very good economic option. So for people who cannot really afford to maintain a car or even to always ride a public transportation, the bicycle really is a very good option.
Okay.
Second, it is also it encourages a healthy lifestyle because physically you are really moving all the time. This is very healthy, no? It's actually, even in this time, it's also a form of exercise for
Yes.
some people. So na yung what we call mga bike enthusiasts, that they just really bike as part of their exercise workout routine.
So kaning mga bike enthusiasts, ma'am, like biking lang, dili good ingon nga for a reason nga ni trabaho sila, allowed sa sila mag-use sa bike lane during pinaka-peak man dyan ng weekdays. So,
Yes,
okay ra.
oo, okay
So,
ra.
dili siya na
Yes.
yung issue sa
Yeah.
mga bikers.
Yeah.
So, kining kuan, ma'am, you made mention nga nag-draft mo og better nga ordinance or law sa bahin sa bike lanes. So, technically, who is comprising the Sugbo Bike Lanes Board?
Yes, it's actually headed by Attorney Carillo. And then the Sugbo Lanes Board is really composed of the different departments within the Cebu City government. So mainly there is the Department of Engineering and Public Works. And then we have also the City Planning and Development Office. We also have the Cebu City Traffic Office. And also national agencies and kaning DPWH is actually our main partner in implementing the bike lanes gyud, the physical implementation of the bike lanes.
So you made mention pud ganiha ma'am nga it's kanang kada bang naata ang nearby cities like Talisay,
Yes.
Mandaue and Lapu-Lapu are part of those sa mga LGUs siguro nga inyong gitap. How did they react to this project of Cebu City?
No, actually, it was really initiated first. The conversation was first initiated by Mandaue City.
Oh.
And then with the help of the bikers enthusiast group, those who really advocate biking as a healthy option, they were also members actually of the board. So that's where we really did some crafting of the plan around July, and then we were just getting ready with it. So by the time came na gi-revive ang Subo Lanes Board, the City Planning Development Office is already ready with the plan.
So aside from Attorney Carillo who is spearheading this project, kinsa man like naapa by like interagency like katim gayon DPWH, what are the other agencies or LGUs na actively
yes.
participating?
The Department of Interior and Local Government, the ILG, is really the one who directed the governors and the mayors last year to provide a network of bike lanes, because they see it also that right now is a very good time since it is the pandemic. It's very safe to use a bicycle because it really encourages social distancing.
Yes, they
Versus to when you ride a public vehicle na there's a tendency that you would really get squeezed in.
Tinuot kaayo
Ang
and
culture as a jeepney yun kay magsikit-sikit jud. So even if there's a plastic in between, the risk is very high.
tinuod. So pag was it a challenge on your part nga mag-craft ani nga project including the ordinances at this time nga may pandemic? It's sometimes difficult to tap other agencies kay busy sila sa ilahang response sa COVID-19. How challenging was it on your part?
I think it's very challenging because the current conditions of our roads and streets is not really ready for bike lanes. If you compare it to other progressive cities outside the Philippines, like Denmark and Netherlands, they're very much established and they're even called bicycle nations. No? Since the time that they started it, several years after, ni-increase yun ilang bicycle population. Here, our greater challenge, I think, is really more on how people would later adjust and accept the benefits of the bike lanes. Our main goal really as city planners when we created the bike lanes was not only for this time actually, the pandemic. When we studied how successful cities actually, manage their cities, their systems, we found out na there is what we call balanced mobility. So you have to have really good public transportation, number one. Second, you have to have other options for transportation. And bicycle is actually one very good option. That's why they respected the bicycle so much. Aside sa it's a lot less to maintain. You don't have to, deal with the cost of fuel because you don't need fuel.
Tindak ra mo
Yes.
effort.
And environmentally, it's
Passage.
very good.
Helpful.
Yes, for
So,
the environment,
So,
for the air.
sa karon ma'am, di ba gi-implement naman nato? What are the challenges that you have experienced and how is the city addressing the issues?
We are actually very happy that our local government is very supportive, even though there are some apprehensions because we are all aware that our roads are not really that ready, but projects are on the way naman to really improve our roads.
Okay.
So if our roads are improved, and by that time, then the bike lanes would also follow. I think one of the greater challenges really was the implementation side. the reinforcing side. And I really like to commend the Cebu Traffic Office.
Dako sila contribution.
Daghan jud kayo badlungon. No? We found out na yun by that time we really established, we already painted the roads for the bike lanes, we put the bollards. Na yung mga badlungon niya, gahi yung kay ulo ng mga citizens, and we're really very sad about it because for us, kanang they need to understand that this is for the whole community, you know.
It's not just for a particular group, no, nga. It's not for kanang
not
sa
at
katong
all.
gusto lang mo avail of that. So,
Yes.
mag-commercial break una ta and we'll proceed with the other questions nato about sa bike lane because I think this is very interesting.
Maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Ang atong haring dakbayan sa Sugbo padayong gihasi ni COVID-19. Miabot na og 25,223 ang mga kasong natala sukad sa atong kumbate sa coronavirus sa Marso sa miaging tuig. Dungan sa atong pagbangutan sa 868 nato nga kaigsuunan nga namatay. Nagampo kita nga matapos na kining pandemya. Daghan ka nato ang nawad-an og trabaho ug panginabuhian. Apan taliwala sa mga pagsulay, pinaagi sa pagbulig sa Dios. Mubarog kita isip mga Sugbuanon. Aron malikay kita sa COVID-19, magsulob kita kanunay og face mask, maghugas sa kamot ug maglagyo aron magpugong sa tinakdanay. Labaw sa tanan, duol kamo sa inyong mga health center o magpalista sa Emergency Operation Center aron makapabakuna. Ayaw pagpili, pagpatarok bisan unsang bakuna alang sa imong proteksyon. Protektahi imong kaugalingon, protektahi imong pamilya, protektahi ang Sugbo.
Batuki ang COVID-19. Medisina nga tumaron sa isolation. Vitamin E, Vitamin C 1000. Gikan sa alas 10 ngadto sa alas 11, magpainit sud sa 15 ngadto sa 20 minutos. Mukaon og itlog. Mupahuway, matulog og 7 ngadto sa 8 ka oras. Muinom og 1.5 nga litro sa tubig. Tanang pagkaon kinahanglang init. Kining tanan mao ang gibuhat sa ospital aron paglig-on sa immune system o resistensya. Hibawi nga ang pH sa coronavirus maglain-lain gikan sa 5.5 ngadto sa 8.5. Ayaw itago kining maong informasyon alang lamang sa imong kaugalingon. Ipaambit kini sa imong pamilya o mga higala. Ang pagpakigbatok sa COVID-19. Hatod kaninyo ning istasyon.
You said, ma'am, na 2014, no, nagsugod. So, giunsa man ni pag-outline ninyo ang katong giingon nimo nga dapat in keeping na ang new ordinance sa bike lane. So, what are the things nga inyong gi-consider, ani?
Like for example, on the side of city planning, we had a lot to contribute to the amendments for repealing and making up with the new ordinance. Like for example, if bike lanes are already in place, they also need bicycle facilities. Like for example, parking. So, dapat nanay policies about bicycle parking that we need to already include, if possible, in detail. And this is not just for the reinforcement of the traffic officers in the future, but in general for the development. Like, for example, in the future, it will be already included in the parking requirements, in
Yeah.
buildings.
Like, for example, naanay pang car, naanay pang motor, naanay po'y pang bike.
Yes, oo.
Okay, so,
And then,
nindot na.
if we're going to follow the international standards that has been established in for many years now, they also have these facilities like shower areas or shower rooms actually for bikers. And
Saan ka na, no, pag-implement
that
na?
can be required in certain establishments. Ano, dili man yun na ma-require sa tanan.
But asa man
But-
feasible na ma-apply siya, ma'am, nga na ay
In
gitawag
area-
nga shower area sa
Yes.
para sa mga bikers.
I think in areas where there's really a big population, a possible big population, like for example, IT Park, where there's a lot of offices, Ayala Business Park, or even in areas like even in government complexes, may bigay na siya. Yeah, uh, honestly, sa ako nga side, since architect man ko, pwede raman yun na later if it's already required establishment, establish na nga policy or guideline. Pwede raman yun nga, they can just convert one existing stall within the restroom and just
For the
convert it.
So,
Yeah,
dili
for
siya
that
ingon
allocation.
So di siya nga burdensome nga mag-construct, no, so it's like pwede mag-improvise ani nga
Yeah.
part. So any
Yes.
so any other rules, ma'am, like for example kanang traffic rules, how are we to wala biya gid taw na sila, I assume wala na sila licenses, so how are we going to regulate kay usahay makakita lang tag musutoy diretso bisan pag stop sa ilaha, so kung saan na to sila
And actually,
pag-control?
as of now, wala pa yun where gisuspend pa na for a while, no? Due to the pandemic. So, as far as I know, gisuspend pa nila ang licensing and registration. I think they are still really reviewing all the details and the provisions that has to be put there on paper. When we establish the bike lanes, that doesn't mean that the biker is exempted from the law.
Follow traffic
Rule. So, if they are really found out na sila yun ang at fault, then they will be the ones to be penalized. And I think it's just logical, kanang common sense na siya ba. So, even without the official or what we call kaning mga rules and regulations bahin sa licensing karon, the bikers dili na sila exempted na just to break the rule.
Okay, wala siguro na wala mi license, wala
Yes.
dili mi affected ana because
Yes.
sometimes you would see ba nga muli
Yes, oo.
disod kayo and it's prone to kanang accident nga.
Jud.
Ikaw nga you're driving carefully, ikaw na hinoy maalanganin kay naanay usahay kanang rule kuno nila nga ikaw nga four wheels, ikaw maoy sad-an bro na
no.
inana, so unsa may
Actually, when we established the shared lanes in some parts of the network, the simple rule really was if there is a biker, then that priority lane is for them. So, ang car gyud mo give way. Pero at the same time, if the biker happens to be in a lane that is not a bicycle lane, yan na ang car, dapat ang bike mo
so
give way.
mo naging nga shared responsibility,
Shared responsibility.
magkuan kita kung unsa imuha mo na imuhang agian kami
Yes.
diri we will abide pod nga kami sa mga sakyanan nga portion. So you said, ma'am, na murag ni mas ni grabe ang urge sa Cebu City to plan this because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
Right? So, but prior to that, doon na ba na actions na nga gitik? Oh, maghimo tag bike lane in the absence of COVID-19. Was there that urge sa Cebu City to do that?
As far as I know, the 2014 was already a really good proposal, and then it was also approved, no, the proposed ordinance. Siguro we don't know what happened between that and then karon. I
Karon ba
wasn't
siya-
also in the government yet. But when we planned actually the bike lane last year, that was even before we got the directive from the ILG.
Oh.
So, when we received the directive, we were really we're happy ba nga. Oh, it's already here. In fact, we felt that it was really a good time because we already have the support from a higher level. Ay, salamat ang
Hindi
DILG, ni direct na.
So na
you know,
wala ding muhangyo ta. Murag
Oo.
initiative yun nila to nga.
Oo.
And so, nintindot siya nga kung ano sa part sa DILG nga mo respond na madita kinalan mo hangyo. But technically, ma'am, asa magid ang mga bike lanes nato? Cebu City area and asa pa man nga mga cities, and up to what extent? Like, for example, Mulabang na Talisay, Minglanilla, naa pa ba tay bike lanes or
Yes.
nag-coordinate na ba
Yes.
sa kuan?
Actually, the directive of the DILG really is to have this main network in Cebu province to connect all the cities. So our task at the city planning was to focus more on our own city, and then to provide the connections so between Talisay and
may
Mandaue,
connect
because
na.
these are the immediate
Cities nga.
neighbors. Yes. And in our own city, we have what we call 2 city center loops. Nga looks like a loop,
Mhm.
and then duha siya because it's clockwise and counterclockwise, since we established in some roads na on one side siya and some roads on two sides, because we are very sensitive on the capacity of the road to handle the lanes. So the focus of the city center loops is really around the center of the city.
Like sa Fuente, gyud dapit.
Yeah, it would revolve around Fuente.
Mhm.
So it means that through this loop, you could access your way to the center. But at the same time, it actually connects to the downtown. And then, our network is actually a master plan. We already have what we call expansion lines.
Okay.
So like for example, the SRP,
Mm.
it's actually an expansion line.
Okay.
Nauna lang gid na siya road, and which is was a very good change by DPWH kay gamay pa man ang development.
Mm-mm.
So sige, that's good. Then it has to be, I think, the most ideal bike
Yeah.
lane.
Okay, lapad gyud dito ang dalan
Yes.
gyud. And I saw how beautiful gyud siya
Yes.
from the start nga. Every day magyud ko maglabay diha. Uy, nindot ang progress and lapad
Yes.
gyud siya compared sa naa sa city. Kay
Yes.
more or less ang kanang naa sa city nga area pila ra man na ka meters wide ang ato ang mga bike lanes diha.
We actually propose a 1.5. Then during one of the presentations, we felt that there are some roads na can go down to 1.2 because we are limited to the road, no? And we have to really make that loop so that ma-connect gani kay kung maputol, like what you said, asa naman pa doon
Sa pa daw ang biker.
ang biker. Even though not all roads or streets are marked right now with bike lanes.
So
but-
initially, karon ma'am, asa man ang naa mga visible nga bike lanes
Yes,
gid nga ginagamit nato?
Along Virama Avenue, we have parts of the Bacalso Avenue, A. Soriano, and we also have here General Maxilum Avenue, Imus, MJ Cuenco Avenue, which will connect to Mandawi, and Bacalso will connect to Talisay. Salvador Street, going to Banawa, so kana Duterte, so this will connect, and Fuente Osmeña, so Osmeña Boulevard area.
So it was like you identified ang pinaka most accessible sa mga bikers gyud ang
Yes.
or to every kanang motorist nga nag-agis dalan sa Cebu.
Yes.
So and going around the entire province of Cebu. So how many phases was this project? Pila ka phases ni o saraba diretso pag implement identified diretso plastada dayon or it took you some time?
It really took us some time also with the revival of the Cebu Lanes Board. It was kind of a parallel type of progress, no? So we on our side we've done the plan, and then when the Cebu Lanes Board invited us, and they asked us, can you plan, and or I said no, we already have a plan. So we presented it. So there were several meetings before we really took on a final plan that is approved. And then DPWH also after that initiated already their implementation stage.
Okay, so kani how long man ni siya ma'am kay considering imong gi-mention ganina mga June 2020 in the advent sa katong yung grabe nga lockdown nato nga way public transpo. So how long man siya from June 2020, how many months man ninyo na accomplish ang more or less makaingon ta nga functional na nga mga bike lanes diri sa Cebu?
Yes, actually this last June lang, DPWH already finished those roads that are under their jurisdiction to implement. And that's already the basic network that they done. And then hopefully our local government can now work on the expansion lines
So
later on.
doon na yung mga plano gyud ma'am. Initially, marog mga istorya lang ba nga, oy, ato na ning sugdan, mga target na to in 3 months, 6 months, or a year after the
Yes,
implementation.
There
So
were
that's
already
good.
phases actually that has been being discussed.
So, karon, how is it man with the actual implementation? How is it?
We always, for me personally, Manggod, I always expect na to be, it's not perfect.
Mm-mm.
So there's always room for improvement. I think as long as we do constant monitoring and evaluation, then we can always know what is the next best step.
Okay. So, kuan pa siya kana in the process o nag-evolve pa siya? It's an evolving
It
kind of
will
project.
evolve, I'm sure. Because when BRT will come in, that is another huge development. But
So-
BRT actually comes with bike lanes.
So,
They are
is-
required.
so more or less sa atong mga dalan karon nga tag 2 or 3 lanes maximum. So kung naa na si BRT plus si bike lane, dako jud naka mulapad atong dalan kaana.
Yes, with the BRT system, the roads that will be used by BRT will definitely have some change, major change, because they have to fit in the design. And then they have to put in the bike lanes. It's actually required.
So nindot na siya no kay more siya duol-duol na ta sa pag-actualize or materialize sa BRT pod. So ginagmay lang baby steps lang sa una. Alin na sa tas bike lane then
Yes.
how long pa man siya? Ato lang nalakbitan naman atong istorya ang BRT. How long will it take for Cebu City to finish or start?
Their plan, if I'm not wrong, initial operation, start of operation, I think it's end of next year.
End
Yan,
of next
so-
2022.
Yes, so
Okay.
it will. So
So-
the works are already ongoing.
Okay, so ma'am, you said na naay dako ka nga credit sa Cebu City Transportation Office ani kay dili man lalim ilang trabaho.
Sa Cebu Traffic Office.
Is there a separate entity similar to Cebu City Traffic Office nga nag kuan ba mumana aning mga bike
Yes,
lanes nato?
The city is now.
I'll
yeah.
cut you off, ma'am. So, ato
Sorry.
inigbalik na lang nato sa atong commercial break ni mo to bago na ang
Okay.
pangutana.
Mhm.
Sige.
Ma, wala na may data, ma. Palud, ma.
Sorry ma'am, na-late ko. Nangita pa mong gugo para internet sa kong anak ma'am.
Ay, wala na yung problema. Pag sinisibo.
For your internet connection.
And for the signal of your cable TV.
So fast and straight the transmission to your home.
Sine Cebu.
Cine Cebu.
Offers you to have fiber optics.
For your viewing experience, perfect and clear, so fast.
So great and affordable for you to enjoy.
Cine Cebu.
Cine Cebu Television Network Incorporated offers fiber to the home broadband internet bundled with fiber to the home cable TV connection. Cine Cebu Television Network Incorporated with its operation in Metro Cebu and the whole province of Cebu soon.
And affordable for you to enjoy.
Sine Cebu.
For inquiries, please visit us at www.cinecebu.com. Cine Cebu, connecting communities, creating connectivities.
Marami sa ating mga kasama, mga kakilala at mga kaibigan ang hindi pa rin lubos na makapaniwala sa ating gagawing paglahok sa darating na eleksyon. Patuloy ang mga tanungan kung totoo talaga. Ang nakatutuwa, wala namang tumututol. Nais lang na matiyak na ito isang laban na walang atrasan. Handang lumuhok ang marami. Pinuhay ang pag-asa. May pagpipilian na. Sa wakas, ang bawat isa sa ating hanay ay may pagkakataong ipamalas ang kabayanihan, tunay na paglilingkod at walang kupas na pagmamahal sa Diyos at bayan. Batay na rin sa tamang pag-unawa, alam natin na ang takbo ng pamumulitika dito sa atin ay dapat nang baguhin. Ibalik natin ang mga tamang batayan ng paglilingkod at paghawak sa pamahalaan. Karapatan ng ating sambayanan na pamunuan ito ng mga lider politika na may tunay na kaalaman, kakayahan at loobin na harapin ng walang alinlangan ang bawat salot sa ating lipunan. Bawiin natin ang bukas. Ibalik natin sa mamamayan ang liwanag sa ating kinabukasan. Ito ang laban natin.
Batuki ang COVID-19. Tulo kahugna sa COVID. COVID sa ilong lang, vitamina C. Kasagaran walay hilanat. Asymptomatic, walay simptomas. COVID sa tutunlan, katol ang tutunlan. Panahon sa kaayuhan o sa kaadlaw. Paglimugmog og init na tubig. Medyo init na tubig ang imnon. Paracetamol kung may hilanat. Vitamin C, B-complex. Kung grabe, nagkinahanglan na og antibiotic. COVID sa baga. Pag-ubo o kakutas, sud sa 4 ngadto sa 5 ka adlaw. Vitamina C, B-complex, limugmog og init nga tubig, oximeter, paracetamol, oxygen cylinder kung grabe. Gikinahanglan ang daghang tubig, ehersisyo sa pagginhawa, estado nga gikinahanglan ng moadto sa ospital. I-monitor ang level sa oxygen. Kung moabot na gani og 43, gikinahanglan na ang oxygen cylinder. Ayaw itago kining maong informasyon alang lamang sa imong kaugalingon. Ipaambit kini sa imong pamilya o mga higala ang pagpakigbatok sa COVID-19. Hatod kaninyo ning istasyon.
Welcome back. So, it's the last part sa atong program and there are still so many questions about the Sugbo bike lane. So ma'am, let's continue. Katong giingon ni nako nga or akong gipangutana nga kinsa may muman sa mga bike lanes. Will it still be CCTO or another similar nga office ang mo-handle?
Generally, the Cebu Traffic Office is really the main enforcing body for all the traffic movements in the city. Right now, to actually assist them or help them, the Sugbo Lanes Board and the Cebu City government in general has formed what we call the Cebu Bike Lanes Marshal Group, the patrol group. So they will assist in managing the traffic and more focus actually on the safety of the bikers. And it is also part of really training the whole community to get used to the idea.
It will take time for us.
The bike lanes are there, and in fact, everybody can use it. And then we have to make sure that it's safe to use. So these are already being designated to this group that they are being formed right now. No, in fact, they supposed to have a graduation last July 31.
So, kumusta man? Ready na sila ibala
pero
dito?
na-cancel kay tungod aning
ECQ.
MECQ
rather.
So, yes.
So,
They already undergone, I think 2 months training siguro to ilang
So,
i-undergo.
mapuspon at gamay sa ang ilang presence sa karon sa kadalanan. So, in lieu of them, ma'am, who is doing that for now? Who is manning the bike lanes?
It's really the Cebu City Traffic Office.
So,
yes.
ilaha pagid karon.
But the Cebu City Traffic Office, I understand their situation because the bike lane is really new. So they also have to adapt that new system.
At the same time, mo pa dili katong sa imong giingon na pay nag-craft pag ordinance na di pa sila they are still confused. Unsa man ni violation na ba ni or dili are they still in that process nga medyo ma-confuse pa sila?
But they're actually part of the Sugbo Lanes Board. So their input is very important, especially when it comes to traffic flow. In fact, when we planned the network, one of the really first departments we consulted was the Cebu City Traffic Office.
So,
kabaw mong good sila. Kani, di pwede mo left turn nila.
kana malibog ra ba jud ano
Yes.
no U-turn, no left turn, ari ka mo exit. So,
Yes.
naa siya daghan nga mga tan-awonon. So, karon na naman ang bike lanes, ma'am, who is tasked to maintain, especially kung naa sa respective cities like sa Talisay, Cebu City, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu? Who's going to maintain
It's really the responsibility of the city. And we simply put it this way na for those roads that are national roads, those are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Public Works and Highways. And the local roads or the local street belongs to the city, so it would be under the Department of Engineering.
So, atong balikan, ma'am, kay kining bike lanes ba? Daghan man jud kay siya o kanang ko ano kumita usa may pasabot anang bike di ba na may bike nga katong murag kanang bitaw sa na scooter kato bitaw na uso nga usa may mga bikes nga gipasabot ani nga pwede mo utilize sa bike lanes. Does that include ko mga motorcycle?
As of now, actually, if we base it on the older ordinance, it's really focused on bicycles pa yun.
Katong mano-mano gyud.
Yes, the bicycle. So, the scooter, all the other kaning mga bagong anang gawas nga type of
Yung mga
riding
e-bike mga nasa carbon
aparatos, kanang kuan pa ni sila. Still in discussion pa yun. Because we need to really think manggod how different they are in movement or whether they could really be classified as the same with kaning bicycles. Kaya importante manggod nga ng at the end of the day how they will behave on the road.
Specifically nga basin ay advantage katudjong na ay makina, di ba, kay pa ng motor. So, for now, ang motor pwede ba moadto sa lane sa sakyanan? Would it
The
be the same?
motorcycles really are not considered in
Parts
the
of
bike lanes.
Okay, so
Really, yes,
to make
in
it clear kay basin bang uban mingon nga ato naman ang motorcycle sa bike lane so
Ano?
dili siya. So it's still in the process of discussion as to who will be classified sa bike kay katong na may electric or anything. It's still subject to assessment sa
Yes, still has
inyo.
to be assessed. We have to reanalyze that kay lahi man gud sad sila behavior. And kaning motorcycles is also an age-old problem. Yun, we're not the only city who's experiencing that. I mean, other Asian cities like India, Thailand, they have this really huge population of motorcycles, and it's still really very difficult to really place them on the road na pareha yun sa concrete nga rules about cars. And I mean, it's easier to even put rules on bikes, no? It's a lot more difficult to put rules about motorcycles.
True. So kay taod-taod na ba na ha, then at
Yes,
least we have for the record wa pataka address ana gyud properly kay sometimes di man nato makontrol tanan sa dalan pod. So it's a matter sometimes of discipline sa mga tawo nga kanang naatas karsada, we have to be very careful. Di ba?
We really hope yun na this sustainable initiatives we have will really later on kanang be complete ba kani among gusto i-achieve nga what we call balanced mobility nga we really have this very effective public transportation so that it will now encourage people to ride more on the public transportation rather than bring their cars or kana magbike. So it would encourage more people to bike on a certain day, and then rather than driving a car. And mo ni ang among kuan or hopefully madayon gini among initiatives nga even to recover our sidewalks so that it would really be a more walkable city in the future.
Tinuod para
Kaya kung gid na ang atong tunong successful cities, they have this. They have all these components. And I do believe Cebu City, as long as ma-cooperate lang yung tanan tao, we will be able to achieve that.
Hinay-hinay, but syempre
Yes.
kanang
It takes time.
It takes time kay syempre it just started, no? Although the ordinance way back started in 1979, but it was more actualized during the time na nagka-COVID-19 pandemic na, which was really last year. So let's see how this works siguro, because I believe dili man ni siya sayon nga one in a snap of a finger it will be kanang actualized. So as you said, it's evolving. So
But the reception of the community is very important. We really hope that we really get big support from the community, that there will be a big respect for the bike lanes, and later on with the BRT system and the new transportation plan that we have, people will really have open mind and support that also.
But for now, like ang inauguration niya last July pa man, no? So, how are people embracing this? Like, oy, di ba ni maka-traffic naman ni noon yung mga bike? Na may inaana nga mga side comments. So, how is
Actually,
it?
we're hearing both positive and negative, which is good because warag balance na siya.
So, unahon
right
na to ang positive side. So, like, what are the things that you've heard na from people nga na, syempre, social media is a very, very kanang visible nga avenue asa ang mga tao mo reklamo, mo praise, og mga panghitabo sa gobyerno. So, any positive comments, ana mo?
I think the very positive comments we got so far are from members of the community na they're already more mature and they understood what a successful city should be. So they understood about environmental issues. So one of the things that they really appreciate, oh, this is a good, really good option for us because it encourages a healthy lifestyle. And then I got some people I know na they would really say, oh, pwede na day kong mag-bike, architect, kay, you know, I can choose to bike on a certain day. And then I would be comfortable with it because na may bike lane, safe na siya. And, you know, they feel that protection already ba. So, it's good for the community.
So, pinaka-negative nga side na lang, unsa may ilang example, unsa may kuan ka na feedback.
I think it's mostly from, I think there are two kinds, no? One are katong medyo resistant pa yun sila sa idea of the bike lane. Kay, the problem with our city really, in most Philippine cities, we are very car-centered society.
Okay, so ang status symbol po ning sakyanan,
Yes. And, you know, in South American cities, which has similar profile to us, they started this years ago about the establishing the bike lanes and the public transportation. What they really said was, let's let's put human dignity to the bicycle. Because in the first place, daghan man siya ikatabang. Waman siya sayop gibuhat. Dako siya tabang, actually. It's a very useful invention, you know. So, kana na siguro, acceptance lang yun sa mga kaning, andad na kaayo mo sig dala cars.
So, siguro, mga kay information dissemination and also siguro mga programs nga nagpakita nga it's really effective. It is, and that aside sa traffic nga kuan, it's beneficial to your health.
Yes.
Siguro part sa mental health nimo kay ma-relax imo na huna, dili ba ingon nga traffic man gud sa puton ka kay kon pro kadang bicycle lane is constant, wa man sad siguro rare na lang siguro mahabiriya.
I have big respect for bikers actually. And people who really commute. I myself, I've been driving a car for many years. No, because mamanggid na warag naandan sad nako, but I don't discriminate them because I think they're doing a better job than me. You know, it's not easy ba yun
Lalimoy labi
go
na
around the city.
I have a friend na ingon siya nga iya ko nung panday magbike gikanaga pa dong puente ko kalayo man in town na ano. But he does that to save the food and at the same time sa karong panahon na lisod kay na COVID-19 sakay siya na bus mahadlok siya.
Mahadlok sila.
Healthy living po niya naga. Kung di na ko nakaya. Layo na kay nastanan. So, moving forward, again, ma'am, akong balikon about registration. Ingon, gisuspend ni Mayor Labella. So, with the upcoming ordinance that you're crafting, is it going to be mandatory ang registration?
For sure na amang yun na siya certain policies na gina-craft yun na mo nga would lead to that, no? But I cannot really expound on the details yet. Our main goal is not really to make it hard for the bikers. It's just that para at least kana ang ilang duties, ilang responsibilities and obligation is clear.
Okay.
And
So like
sometimes you have to put that on paper,
on paper yun kay wala may ko na may balaod na okay ra ni. So like what are we going to do with the bikers? Will there be murabag sa kuan pa maglukat tag lisensya na mandatory nga mga seminars?
That is still in discussion, but we are very much in favor of seminars and workshops because that's very necessary. So it's not just for the current bikers, but for those who are interested to really use bikes in the future.
Tinood. So it's really like bag-o pa man, dili pa ta ka pangutanag daghan kay pareha nang sa to pagpangutana nga kanabang karon nag-function magid siya. I technically see lots of bicycles na kuan ba magay masuya pa kay kausa kanindot niya wala naka-escape mas traffic. Diba? So kanang kani siya kanang ni-improve ba siya sa situation sa bikers like bikers themselves, how are they treating the bike lanes? Kana bang, this has improved our current situation nga sa una, mumidpid gid down sila kay wala sila ilahang kaugalingong lane. Usahay ato pa sa kanang sidewalk yun nga katong para laktanan sa mga tao.
Yes.
How
Actually,
are they?
For the areas where there's already an established bike lane, it really helped a lot because they already have a place. So they have this clear way for them to pass through na priority yun para sa ila. Oo. So actually when we had this testing last I think March and i-appeal jud ko. So
How was it,
we went from downtown to SRP. Dili laliboy kay dugay na kay ko last time nagbike yun. So by the time I reached SRP, it was like lami na kay higda sa floor sa kakapoy ana ko dili lalim oy nga ikaw magbike ka na especially you're biking because this is your mode of transportation jud
Ang
ba
alternative nimo.
everyday yun nimo so na-appreciate jud na ko sila and when we tested the lanes there was really this sense of kanang kulba
Oo, oy.
Balik sa niya ko,
Batapsingan,
especially
unya.
sa intersection. It's not easy. Taas akong appreciation sa mga bikers, especially those everyday bikers yun kay. That's what they use for daily work bitaw nila.
So, how about the traffic, ma'am? Like, sa major areas sa ato diri nga mga kwan, how was the traffic? Was it like ni-improve or ni grabe or anitas average or similar lang gihapon siya sa kwan?
For now, since we are really still on the pandemic stage, it's not really as worse as before the pandemic came in, no? Lahi gito itong problema.
Nabitong manapay
Yes.
mga bata nga nag-eskwela gyud peak
Oo.
hours gyud na until
Because number one, the schools are not in their normal mode. So online sila. It remains to be seen, I think, by the time na ma-implement po na mo ang bagong public transportation route plan. This is actually to align with the BRT. And then with the bike lanes, then we will see.
But so far, ma'am, since the time nag-implement siya, were there reported accidents aning pag-use sa bike lanes?
As far as I know or aware of, wala biya kayo buyag.
Buyag lang po.
Buyag.
Kaya ang ato ang good is,
Mga
syempre,
motor pagyapon,
motor ang leader. Sila gihapon ang nag-lead. So,
Yes.
in view of the presence of the bike lane, so sa may ma-advise mo sa mga motorists o cyclists karon, considering nga it's something new, sa ilahang pananaw, and especially ang experience mo sa traffic, how are we going to deal with this? So, unsa may imong advice, isip usa sa mga nagplano aning ato ang Subo bike lanes?
Well, I think for me, it's really more to the general public good. So whether you're a car owner or you have a bike or you're a commuter, I hope na we will all be open to all these types of mobility because our direction really is to create balance in all of this so that we will really achieve number one, reduction of traffic good.
True.
Second is to also promote sustainability in terms of less consumption of fuel. And then second is to contribute less to air pollution. Huwag yun na ang atong
Priority.
atong
And
priority.
most especially, healthy living kana
Yes.
siguro. So it's like a matter of how we are all going to adjust, no, embrace changes. Wa man tay lain nga kuan karon, but there's only kanang few things constant in life, and this could be one. Nga si
Yes.
Cebu City would be very appreciative kung kita tanan mulihok. We will address our issue siguro, di man na ato ang dalan, so we'll try to respect each other's lanes. For
Yes.
now, the maximum lanes that we have is 3. So there's 1.2 to 1.5 meters allotted for bike lanes. Am I correct?
Yes,
So,
actually in some areas, DPWH even provided wider
kanang sa SRT
parts,
siguro ma'am.
mga bigger roads, Jude. So, hopefully, ma-reconcile ra sa gina na mo tanan. Right now, we're just happy that we're able to set these things on the road na with the painted markings and the bollards.
So, naabay kinanglan po before I forget, naabay kinanglan gear si biker, ma'am, like motorcycles, kinanglan ba helmet or
Yes,
anything?
they should have the
At nighttime?
necessary gear and kanang what they call katong ilang
Blink, sana.
I'm not very familiar with the term because I'm not a user. Pero they should have all the necessary safety na kuan jud gear.
Especially sa night time, no? Kaya di ba,
Just
nato
to be sure.
maklaro, wabay na sila kana specific nga light, like i-on na to kung babiin na. So, they need the, I don't know how to call that, blinker, or so how is that
Yes, I
called?
think
So,
that's
I think that is how it's called. So, sige lang. So, at doon na ba tayo mga websites nga available para maka-encourage pa if there are people watching us nga who wants to learn more about the Sugbo bike lanes, na ba tay particular Cebu City Government nga website or Facebook page asa nato makitaan ang projects?
Yeah, unfortunately, dili ko ka-memorize, but there are some bikers movements that they are constantly actually promoting biking, and they're once in a while include the kaning progress sa kaning bike lanes.
Okay. So, as to sa Cebu City Government, ma'am, na sila yung mga information dissemination, unsa may mga kuan na to ron sa Cebu City?
As of now, so far, in terms of the information drive, we still have to add pa gyud, especially for the bikers na jud ba, to use. And from the side of the city planning, we are always willing to really post all these maps of the networks that we made for the bike lanes para nakita gid sila na direction. They can be directed actually so
sa
pwede
padung.
din pwede din ko ano
Ay, diri mo turn.
Yes.
So,
Sa karon man good, we just have to reconcile pa what has been completed and what is in our plan as of the moment, so that we could update the plan, and anytime that would be good for public sharing to the public.
so sa kita tanan, this is an opportunity sa pag-embrace of change again, and that dapat pasensyoso ta sa dalan, and let's respect each other. Kay especially kung nata sa dalan, it's always our lives which are at risk ba. So share lang ta it, as what has been said, this is a shared responsibility. Let's take responsibility sa atong mga actions and be a good nga motorista sa dalan or siklista. So kay motorista katumandong mga di motor kani ang mga siklista pod. So thank you kaayo ma'am sa imuhang pag accommodate sa amua, and at the same time maayong gabi og amping natong tanan.